So my name's Liz Eggins. I'm a research fellow here at the University of Queensland. My main area of expertise is around systematic reviews of interventions in the criminal justice sector to find out what works, what doesn't. And this particular review that we undertook in collaboration with the Australian Institute of Criminology was around assessing what the criminal justice sector is doing to, address child exploitation material offending and offenders, and how effective are those interventions. So that's across policing, corrections, the judiciary and courts, but also those multi-agency interventions where police or other sectors might be partnering, and to see what works. We found that there's probably a lot less evaluation of interventions than what we would hope for, and that a lot of that evaluation of interventions for countering child exploitation material offending and offenders has been done in the US and in Europe, and that it's not really done in very rigorous ways. So we're really actually quite unsure what works and what doesn't from a criminal justice perspective for countering child exploitation material offending. While there's this, kind of huge amount of evaluation research around contact child sexual offending, it's our view that child exploitation material offending, they're quite a different subset of offenders. So we really need to kind of look at the etiology and how those kind of offences come about, and how can we best deal with them from, a multi-layered perspective from the criminal justice system. We really expected to find many more interventions across sectors, when what we actually really found was that there were lots of interventions that had been evaluated in terms of police investigative work, and only 2 studies that looked at the courts and legislation type responses. We actually found no studies that had evaluated interventions in the correctional space for child exploitation material offending, and no multi-agency interventions, which is really quite concerning when we think we need to know what we can do around child exploitation material offenders in order to rehabilitate and reduce that impact long term, but also what we can do to support victims as well. I think what's really important is that we need to be funding research to actually find out what is working in this space. We need to be moving beyond describing what we're doing and evaluating what we're doing, because otherwise we're essentially using practices that might not work. They could be working, they might not. The answer is that we just don't know at the moment. So we really need to invest time and energy and funds into those evaluation efforts.